Okay, did I fix this? Are you there, Mike? Well, I'm getting confused with two shows trying to link me in. I can't link in with them because I can't join the conversation right now. Then I'm gonna have to put you on hold. Hold on a minute. Okay, are we back? Okay, I'm not. I'm gonna try and ignore them from now on.
All right, that's cool. Yeah, we're all set. Just stabilize, and we'll just go from there.
Okay, say that again. I'm just checking volume.
I said just stabilize, and let's go from there.
Okay, we're all good.
All
I'm
right, cool.
gonna get a shot around of everyone that's here right at the front. We've got Brett in the back over there. He's gonna record it as well in case something happens to this. So we probably have 10 to 15 minutes before
All right, that's cool. Yeah, we're broadcasting right now, so just kind of let it flow, and we'll just see what happens.
Hey, which studio are we on?
We're on the live stream at YouTube, and we're on Hawk's Nest.
Okay, I'm gonna tell somebody they're asking me.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Whose butt am I looking at?
Okay. Okay, Chris.
Hey, Sherry, can you hear me?
How you doing? Good. Am I the only one that asked?
Hang on.
Been interesting? Oh yeah. Oh, those two.
The meeting is not due to start until 7. They are still setting up.
Okay, yeah. All good you. So you really want to raise.
You want to wave to anybody? We're live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On what?
We're live on Revolution Radio. Yeah, we're live streaming.
You guys
Say
came
hello.
up to the. You guys came up to the our entry point.
Yeah.
Your husband?
Yeah, he's back there.
Let's see.
He's the one in the British driving cap in the center.
Oh.
Are you the one I'm going to be calling to come talk to me? Because
Yep.
they gave me a card for a PIO. Is that you?
They gave you a number for a PIO, and that's just going to be the Public Information Office. And I can't tell you who you'll be talking to, but whoever it is should be able to give you the latest updates on everything that we have.
And now it's just not good timing, is it?
You know, you could give it a try, but
Sure. Well, let's do it. I'm ready. Go right ahead.
You know, hey, Sherry, Sherry, you scared
That was
the.
a good try, wasn't
Well, it
it?
was a good try. I
Yeah.
gotta applaud you for your efforts. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice here a little bit, so
Oh, I'm sorry. Is the cold getting to you?
something's getting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I figured since you knew who I was today, that maybe you were the one I was going to be getting the updates
You
from.
were walking and talking to the guy.
Gotcha. Well,
Trained observer.
you are. You're very good. I'm taking my coat off in stages here. It was cold, now it's
Yes.
better, and then it's going to get hot. More people that gets in here.
It's here. Dude, my wife is signaling. I don't know what I need, but something. She needs it.
Go get reels.
Okay, shameless plug. Revolution Radio and readoutnews.com. How's that? Is that a good one? Are we good? Are we good? Okay. I need a selfie stick.
Huh?
I said, I need a selfie stick. I can just prop this on. I don't know.
So good evening, everybody, and thanks for coming. Shall we start with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So, we kind of anticipate when the meeting that's at the fairgrounds, which ran from 5 to 7, that some more folks may come in. And so if we get a big rush of folks, we may kind of recess for a couple minutes and let those folks come in. So I may say this stuff more than once, but I want to start out by saying what I think is ridiculous to say to the people that I call my friends and family here. And that's a set of rules for tonight. And we're going to ask you, as you get a chance to speak, we hold it to 1 minute. Laura Cleveland, lost her. Laura Cleveland is the public information officer for Harney County here for another week or two. She's an Association of Oregon Counties employee and came out and helped us. She's going to carry the mic around and kind of control the length of time. So think about your comments or questions and keep them to a minute. I'm going to ask you all to be polite, and I'm sorry to ask that question or make that request, but please do. As last time, we're going to ask that if you're interrupting people, we're going to warn you once, and then we're going to ask you to leave on the second time. The only people that get to yell are the wrestlers that are running back and forth up above here, and we don't have any control on that. We're also, last meeting, I got asked afterwards, hey, I'm from out of town, I love the refuge, and I'd like to make some comments. We're going to try and keep this focused again tonight on Harney County. This tonight, maybe a couple more meetings, is about us. Eventually, we got to get back to a broader us, but tonight, we're going to ask that the focus stay on us as we move ahead. And the other thing we are going to do is we're going to be done at 8:30. We're not going to run late into the evening. 8:30 is late enough. And then we'll meet again next Monday here. As long as the group stays this big, we'll keep meeting here. If it shrinks some, we may find another facility. But next week, 7 o'clock, Monday night, here. So thanks for coming this evening. These are really difficult times in this community. I gotta admit, I've really struggled to figure out the right words to say to all of you. And I'm not sure I got it right. After 17 years of trying to get us heard in land management decisions, thousands of hours invested in trying to stop a listing of the sage grouse, hundreds of hours of working with you to write a creative law called the Steens Mountain Cooperative Management and Protection Act. And only as an observer, I got to watch the management plan for the refuge get written that we wrote, us, the people here. Certainly the environmentalists and others weighed in, but we wrote that plan. It's our plan. The forest collaborative that we put together produces more outputs from this forest, from our district, from the Emerald Creek Ranger District, than any other district on the Mount here. And that's a credit to us. None of that makes us perfect. We still think we got government overreach, and I agree. We still think we got too many laws. We still think it takes too long. We believe that we're not being heard and that we're not empowered enough. We, all of you, we can fix that. And tonight, I want our message to be, how do we bring this place back together? I'm fighting with Mr. Rollins. That's unfair, totally unfair. I lost a friend the last week. It's not right. This is our community. This thing's about us. We have a group of outsiders that I'm getting sick and tired of. Move on. You've made your point. We've heard you. Let us get our lives back together, and we have the limelight. I think within 24 hours of Mr. Bundy being out of this county, that we, one or more of us members of the court with a couple other locals, will get appointments with the Secretary of Interior and the Secretary of Ag. And we can make our arguments, and we can start empowering ourselves and getting us heard better. It cannot be done with Mr. Bundy out here. It is time for Mr. Bundy to go home. Somebody asked me if I meet with him confidentially and let him talk to me for an hour. I'm reaching a lot and I know it, but yes, I will meet with him at McDermott or Parma, Idaho. And he can continue on wherever he wants to go. I'm happy to do that. Without guns, by the way. Not bring mine, don't bring yours. So what we've done tonight is we've gathered quite a selection of community leaders here. Because again, I want this message to be about getting us back together. We don't need this infighting. We don't need families fighting with each other, or friends fighting with each other. We need to move this ahead. And so I ask a lot of folks. We have clergy sitting behind us. We have both mayors. One city manager, we'd had the other one, but she had a little accident this afternoon and isn't here. We got the fire chief of Burns here. And maybe most importantly, one of the most valuable relationships that I have, we have the tribal chair of the Burns Paiute tribe here. It's very heartfelt to me when I say, this is one community. We don't always agree. We're never going to ever get to that. But this place has been known nationally as a place that writes up, Tom Sharp sitting over there and writes up the cooperative agreements for sage grouse. And that probably prevented the listing more than any single action that occurred. And Tom helped get that done and led that effort locally. We're known for doing that kind of stuff. We need to get back there. We need to the divisions that are happening today need to come to an end tonight. So, Commissioner Reynolds, do you have anything you want to say?
So I just have a couple of quick comments. Last week I had the opportunity of attending a joint service organization lunch. And the people in the room are Harney County people. The healing process has already begun in that group. I know the healing process will continue. A group of ladies in my business today, same thing. When can we start coming out of this and building our lives back? And it's, I'm telling you, it's happening. Go on with your normal life. Do the things you normally do. Be friends, be neighbors. We'll get through this. The thing that disturbed me most I heard today was that we have I heard mentioned to me there's some professionals in the community that want this thing over and done, or their thoughts are maybe packing up and moving. And I hate to see that, because when this is over, I'm still going to be here, and I hope you're all going to be here with me, and we will continue on our ways. And I don't want to see anybody leave. Thank you.
So we want to make sure all of you have a chance to say something, to make your comments, to ask questions. By the way, at the door was the answers from last week's questions. I apologize for not getting them out quicker. Sometimes bureaucracy is very slow, and it happens at the county level too. But, so I'm going to ask Charlotte Rodriguez, the tribal council chair, if she'd like to say something, and then we'll pass the mic around. We'd ask you again, 1 minute. Charlotte, you want?
I took my jacket off. I wasn't expecting it to be mean, but it's kind of warm in here. I'm sure most of you are aware of the press conference that the tribe had a couple weeks ago. When I heard about the occupation down there at the wildlife refuge, I was very concerned because many of you are aware that that was a winter camp for the bands of Paiute Indians in the area. We have burial grounds. We have historical campsites. We have artifacts. The petroglyphs are there. It's just such a valued part of our history that it just made my hair stand up to think that people were in the refuge, they were in the offices, and we were aware that there are artifacts actually in the offices and in the museum. So of course we got a hold of Carla right away. What's down there? Where is it? Is it accessible? You know, what's going to happen if these people break them, damage them, sell them? Whatever could happen to those things. And I was especially upset with the disrespect with which they treat the land. We're the Watapaka band of the Paiutes, and we're the northernmost band. Our traditional food, the wata plant, grows on the banks or the shores of Harney Lake and Malheur Lake. And they're near extinct now. And for these people to go in there and possibly destroy any of the precious vegetation that's out there, I just can't believe that people would do that. And we've had a bad relationship with everybody since the mid-1800s. And I think many of you are aware of that. Many of you, your ancestors may have experienced that as we did. But you know, in the last 40 years or so, we've developed a working relationship. We now currently have a memorandum of understanding with the National Wildlife Refuge. They protect our history, the burial grounds, the artifacts, the things that are out there. And we're proud that our relationship has developed to this point. And I talked with Secretary Jewell from the Department of Interior. The council and I had a phone conference with her last Friday, or Friday after the press conference. And we have another meeting scheduled on Friday this week. And they're very concerned about the issues at the wildlife refuge. I've talked to the environmental people, the ones that were sponsoring the rallies and those sorts of things. And their motivation is the same as mine, the same as the tribes. We all want to protect that area. And the vegetation, the wildlife, all of those things. And as tribal people, when we pray, we always pray for the winged animals, the creatures on the earth, the four-leggeds, the two-leggeds, the ones that crawl on the ground, the life in the waters, those sorts of things. And it's a part of our everyday life. And, you know, it's really hard to understand that this group of naughty people is down there with no respect for the land, no respect for the earth, no respect for the environment. And I think they need to go. one more thing I'd like to inform the community is that last Friday, we sent a letter to Robin Thorson, the Regional Director of U.S. Fish and Wildlife, who are the owners of the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. It's not the BLM. And we voiced our concerns that they have an obligation to protect by law the artifacts, anything that is history to our people. They have an obligation to protect that. And we ask that they prosecute people to the fullest extent of the law. The law reads that for minor offenses, one person can get a $10,000 fine, a 5-year prison sentence. And they reported 4,000 artifacts stored at the refuge. And that could be little arrow points or whatever, but there's 4,000 of them. Do you realize that if a person were sentenced for that, they'd spend 20,000 years in prison? Thank you.
So if you raise your hand, we'll take 2 or 3 questions on this side, and then we'll go back and forth and start over here to the right. If you would, Laura. So can I ask a question? Is there a crowd outside that needs to come in? And if so, let's see if we can make sure they get in. Doesn't sound like it, so.
And test, all right. While you're all thinking of your questions, just want to also let you know that out on this table here in the front is a list of frequently asked questions. And I think there are plenty copies that if you feel you want to take a couple extras to pass out to your friends and neighbors, please feel free to do so. So who has a question? Is another one over here?
I've been recognized. I want to speak up. The lady that's from the Pine Tribe, all respect to you. If you want your artifacts,
Tim, let's get a mic to you, please.
okay, to the lady, to the Paiute lady and the Paiute tribe, all due respect. If you want your artifacts from the refuge, and you have representatives from the tribe to go with you, and Carla that has the keys, I will go with you and peacefully get your artifacts without fear. Okay, and I haven't been to the refuge. Judge Grasky, you speak of questions. These answers to your questions are spun and phony. I'll take one for example. What are you going to ask for in Washington, D.C.? That wasn't even a citizen's question. That was your question. What you wanted citizens for you to take, and you spun it. You're spinning it for your own political agenda, and you're not acting like you want an end to this situation.
I'd like to respond to that. The Burns Paiute tribe has 15,000 years of history in the ground at Burn Refuge, and it's impossible to remove those artifacts, those sorts of things. So it's unrealistic to expect that the tribe would work with this and interfere with federal investigation.
I just want to say that I've had conversations with people out at the refuge. Sheriff Ward, I would like to believe that you want a peaceful resolution to this. So far, you showed that. Although when you met with Hammond, he asked you specifically about addressing the redress of grievance and you refused to answer him. I feel like there's no communication there. And I also want to know why medical air flight is on standby. War assets in Boise at Gowan Field are under tight security. There's restricted airspace over Lake and Harney County. And there's extra medical staff and FBI combat surgical. And the hospital here has doubled or tripled the blood and plasma on hand. And the air tanker base in Redmond has FBI agents at it. Why is all that necessary if you honestly want a peaceful resolution?
I do want a peaceful resolution. I've asked for a peaceful resolution. I've asked for those folks to go home so we can work this out. But I'm not going to speak on behalf of any actions the FBI are taking.
So let's hold up just a minute, please. Can we get all of you that are up there? There's plenty of seats. I'm going to invite you to come on in. So we're not going to take interruptions. That's going to end. So will you please disperse out here? Come on in. All the rest of us are sitting here. We invite you to come on in so nobody's standing.
Can you answer the lady's question, please?
So we're going to take questions from the crowd out here, guys.
Good evening. My real name is Master Sergeant Donna Snowell Smith, retired. My husband and I both just retired from 40 years in the Army. I'm a combat medic and a licensed nurse. We just drove all day to be here from Douglas County to show our support to the entire community. My question is, I've had experience with, now I don't know the Bundys, and I know they're good people. And I know they mean well, but my question is, why is it 3% Idaho President Brandon Curtis, who's a grandstander, who wants media attention to gain his membership in his private army? And why is Joe Rice here from Oath Keepers of Grants Pass, Oregon, when this is not their community? I think my question is, so you all know that I'm bringing up these names. In the 40 years I was in the Army, we had something called the UCMJ. We also believe in due process. We fought for your Constitution, even though we didn't have constitutional rights while I served in boots up until this last September. Okay, so now I'm back to with the Constitution again. And my feeling is, and my concern is, I was at Sugar Pine Mine down at Grants Pass, and my question is, when I was a nurse there, and I saw misappropriation of funds and them grandstanding, pretending helicopters were coming in to attack us while I was working there as a nurse, because they wanted the media attention on YouTube. Now they're using your county, 3% Idaho, not the other 3%, but they're coming up here. Why can't you guys, as 3% Idaho, Brandon Curtis and Joe Rice, to leave your county? I think you could solve things with Mr. Bundy if you could get rid of them.
I'm Liz Appleman, and I've lived here for close to 60 years. And right at this point, I don't really give a rip who's on what side. This started out about the Hammonds, and it has far gone past that. They've been dropped on the dark side for these guys standing up for what they believe. They have that right, but I would ask, why don't they go home to their own states and do it, their own counties and do it, and leave us to the life we've led, and let us work out the things we want to work out, because we've done that for years and have done it very well. There's always been catches in everything we do, but that's just life in general.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Craig LaFollette, Mayor of Burns, Oregon. I was born in Grant County, and Harney County's been home since 1977 for me. Today, as I pondered what point and message needed to be communicated, it occurred to me that the unified message from those here with me and you folks here continues to be this: go home. Please leave our community. This unwavering message is to those who have invaded our community and have shared their message. I've watched people attempt to turn this situation into a political battle or a race issue, an issue that has continued to pit friend against friend and family against family. The misuse of social media has become extremely evident as people share a thought or an opinion void of any specific context or facts. It is these social media conflicts that are tearing friendships apart. Moving forward, let's be mindful of the impact of our comments and statements and how they affect others. So let's change our focus for just a moment. This community is currently full of heroes. And they're always here.
Like this?
It's that just now that we have many, many more of them. And those heroes that I'm referring to are often, but not always, wearing a uniform. Thank you to all the various law enforcement personnel who have left their homes to serve our community and assist our own. I thank you to all of you. This wonderful community that we call home needs to, more than ever, to stand together, united, showing the world the beauty of our community family, never allowing outsiders messages of division to ever gain a foothold. Yesterday was Martin Luther King Day. I think it's appropriate that I close with a quote from him. Violence as a way of achieving justice is both impractical, and immoral. I am not unmindful of the fact that violence often brings about momentary results. Nations have frequently won their independence in battle, but in spite of temporary victories, violence never brings permanent peace. It is peace that we need, no more threats of violence. Let's end this stalemate peacefully today.
My name is Margaret Wallace. I am a veteran. I am also a retired RN. I have lived in Harney County for 18 years, and I'm very proud to call this place my home. I want to speak to whoever it is out there that is agitating and threatening and pursuing a lack of empathy promoting in my county. And I want to tell you, get the hell out of my county. Go away. We in this county are very good at solving problems. We don't always agree. We don't always wind up on the same page. But you know what? We get along with each other because we are a community. And that's what the rest of the world is out there looking for. They want to know how we do this. And we want you who are stirring up trouble and speaking out fear to stop it. If it's not kind, if it's not necessary, and if it's not true, keep it right here between your lips and get your boots out of my county.
My name is Scott Dolan, and I've heard Mr. Bundy on video say that if he can have a public forum, then he'll announce his plans to leave. So I say we hand the mic to him and he can tell us how he's going to leave.
I'm Elizabeth Relling from Summer Lake, Oregon, and I have one question for Greg Walden. How are you going to get the Hammonds back home where they belong? They don't belong in prison. You can stand up there and you can say all you want back there in Washington, D.C., but what are you going to do about it? Action speaks louder than words.
I want to respond to that really clearly. Nothing can get done about the Hammonds until Bundy's out of here. Every conversation that I have with the Department of Justice, with the Department of Interior, nothing. Once more, Kim. Nothing can happen. We can't talk about fixing our issues. We can't talk about Hammonds. We can't talk about nothing while this guy is here. Go home.
Okay, we're gonna go one person at a time, please.
My name is Brian Hall, and I have a question for Sheriff Ward. Sheriff Ward, I've been speaking with the Federal Bureau of Investigation for the past 3 weeks. They tell me that you are in charge. Why have you not done anything? Brian, thanks for the question.
You said the Harney County.
Go home.
I'm in charge of maintaining the peace out here in the community, and that's 100% my goal. The FBI is in charge of that investigation down there at the refuge, and I would prefer to see that resolved peacefully as well. I don't think anybody wants to fight with these guys. I know I don't want to fight with them. I see Hammond sitting up there. I've told him many times I'm not his enemy. I'd like to see these guys go home. I'd like to see everybody resolve this peacefully. I'm not going to dig into the investigation side of the house. I'm not going to jump into what they're doing and what they're not doing. The nice lady back there, I'm not in charge of what goes on at the hospital. It's an honest question. I wish I had a better answer. But there's a lot here that needs to be worked out. You know, I think that we agree on a lot of things. We disagree on a handful of others. I disagree with the way that this came about. I did agree with the peaceful demonstration. I don't want to see the Hammond sit in prison for the rest, for a longer sentence. I think it's a law that needs to be worked out through the appropriate channels. But I'm going to enforce the law while I'm here. I'm going to do the best I can. I'm an imperfect human being. And I guess I have to ask God to help me with the rest.
Hi, my name is Katie Beatty. I have grown up in Burns. I graduated high school in Crane and have called Harney County home for nearly 30 years, in case anybody cares who I am and why I'm relevant. So, in the last 2 weeks, our little community of Harney County has seen more press, drama, and hatred than ever before. I have not publicly stated my opinion in regards to the current situation at the refuge. I've also refrained from social media. The only message that I have actively supported and stood behind is the initiative to bring the Hammonds home. Due to my disconnect from the social media platform, I've not become part of any secret or public groups that, in my opinion, were created specifically to slander members of our community under the facade of a disagreement with the Bundy agenda. I feel after being attacked and slandered that I probably should set the record straight. And I'm not a Bundy lover. I've never met a Bundy, and love's a pretty strong word for a stranger. I'm also not a self-proclaimed anti-government martyr. I do, however, love the Hammonds, and I want to see both of them come home. My question, though, is what happens when the media and the individuals at the refuge do leave? Who will be around to make sure that something productive comes from this? It won't be Fox or NBC or CNN. Maybe Pete Santilli. I heard he's going to buy the radio. Is Harney County going to go back to being the quiet little community where nobody questions Big Brother? As soon as the hourglass runs out for the folks at the refuge, we can just get back to our normal lives. I don't want to go back to normal. I want to see something. I want to see change, progress, results. I want to see Harney County's strong effort to bring Stephen and Dwight home. I want to see the land management issues addressed. I want to see the big ones at the BLM held accountable for the damage and corruption that they handed down the line. I want to see the ranchers, miners, loggers, and the BLM able to work together in harmony and collaboration to take care of the land here, and it can be done. I want to see Harney County band together as a community and support our neighbors in Malheur County, who are at a risk of losing nearly a third of their county, so a shoe company on the west side of the state can make money on hiking boots. We've all stood shoulder to shoulder to save our theater, send our kids on numerous trips, save our sports programs, raise money to help locals pay medical bills, and the list just goes on. Why is it that now, when the entire nation is watching our every move, do we decide to tear each other down? We went to school together, our kids learn and play together, we attend the same community functions together. We broke bread, prayed, lost friends and family together. Our community has been through a hell of a lot worse than having a group of individuals take over the refuge. My family and I have been on the receiving end of the slander and hatred dealt out by several members of our Harney County community. The fact that my family and I have not openly stated our opinion has opened us up for abuse in the designation of an opinion by someone else. We've been called Bundy lovers and accused of catering to visitors in our community. We've been stalked, photographed, and slandered all in the same breath. And in regards to our county officials, I can respect the fact that you are all under an exorbitant amount of stress at the moment, but that gives you no right to disregard the concerns of your voters and citizens of this county. When the issue of slander and the said Facebook group comprised of government employees, teachers, and I quote, rational, like-minded folk, was brought to your attention, we were told to just ignore everything because it's gonna blow over. In the same breath, we were made very aware that we're to ignore the slander directed at us, but that we should focus on the hatred that is pointed at our county officials. When did an elected official's feelings and opinions become more important than mine? I want to point out that I did notice the blatant disregard for citizens' concern and what, in my opinion, felt like a selfish ploy to bring more attention to a pity party for their family. You say you're listening to the community, but it sure feels like you aren't hearing what's being said. And it doesn't matter what side of the fence you stand on, but the way you compose yourself during this time will follow you forever. Our community needs to focus on changing and healing. Neither will be accomplished if the malice that is at the heart of the great Harney County divide is not addressed. Choose wisely the way you express your opinion, as doing so in a manner that is hurtful, slanderous, or just plain nasty will be your burden to carry after the cameras leave.
Sheriff, I've heard you continue to say that you're not in charge of the investigation, correct? Jason Ward, raised here my whole life. You've continually said that you're not in charge of the investigation, correct?
What he said.
Yeah.
Okay, furthermore, anyway, you can answer that after I'm done. We have the FBI on video saying they're not in charge, they're here to aid you in what you are doing. So one of you guys are lying to the public. I want to know which one's lying and why. And being the supreme law of the land per the Constitution, no matter how you guys want to misconstrue it, it's in black and white and it's easy to read. If you want the community to heal, which you can see right now, it's very divided. Everybody hopes for change. Everybody wants change. Everybody wants this to end peacefully. But until you guys can come up with some plan of action to embrace everybody here that you will take steps for change, I would rather see these guys stay.
My name is Wayne Bachman. I have lived out of Princeton for almost 20 years. If you didn't like the last two speeches, you won't like mine. I was unjustly, unlawfully jailed in your jail, Judge, Sheriff. It was before you came there as a sheriff, but nevertheless, it was there in your jail where I was unjustly, unlawfully jailed in your jail and had my jaw broke by a violent bisexual pervert because I refused to give him sex. Why? And for Grasky, I want to know why Barb Kennedy told me about you putting her under duress to change her property lines. We need some accountability. We need honest people in government, not a bunch of damn crooks.
Let me ask something. Let me remind you. We can keep throwing hate back and forth all night long. This is one great place, and these are great people here. We need to move this on. I'm going to let him answer the question, okay? But I'm going to ask you, work towards solutions. We can complain all night long, but I'm going to ask you to work towards solutions.
I don't know who you spoke to from the FBI, but I'm going to tell you right now. I'm not in charge of the investigation out at the refuge. Thank you.
Listen, we've asked this once, please. Let's stay civil here. Guys, listen, we got to keep this at a level, where we all are having a civil conversation here. I want to pull this back together. The young lady at the top is exactly right. Let's pull this place back together.
My name's Vanessa Leathers King. I've spoken a lot. I'm generally not crying when I do it. I have to applaud the courage of Rod Benning here to tell me to my face that I've never been very bright after he was my teacher in high school. That was awesome. Also, do not presume to know where I stand either. I had a discussion earlier with Steve Grasty, and I told him that I am not necessarily a Bundy supporter. I understand the frustrations that got them there. Quit trying to label me when you don't even know me, you have never spoken to me, and you have no idea where I stand. You can read everything I've posted on Facebook. You can watch the damn news. Sorry for cursing, I should not have done that. But I have been advocating for our town. I have been trying to fight the wrongs that were done that made this situation happen in the first place. I am working on that with other people who feel the same way, including Steve Grasty. I did protest yesterday. I did stand up because I wanted my voice to be heard. I wanted other people's voices to be heard. And I think we deserve a response when we ask a question from our local officials. And I got that today. questions. But things like putting each other down, especially your former students, is not okay.
I told Vanessa that I was wrong. In a moment of anger, I said something that I should not have. And that is a perfect example of what is going on in this community. Over the last 2 months, Hammond Bundy and his tribe have brought a lot of anguish to this community. It may be awakening. It may be something that needs to be discussed, but it needs to be discussed through the proper channels. It also needs to be discussed through the community as a group, not as Bundy lovers, anti-Bundy lovers, or anything else. It needs to be discussed as the community.
Yeah, my name's Eddie Brown, and if anybody wants to know where I live, I'm the guy with the flag upside down out on Highway 20, because that's a sign of distress and distress, and we are in it. We have some people come from out of state. Okay, Mr. Bundy, I agree with you 100%. We have way too much government, but in the same hand, get the hell out of my yard. Are you happy that you did this to a community? Stand up and answer. I'm asking you a question.
He's afraid to.
My name is Tom Sharp, and my wife and I, we've owned ranch property here in Harney County for about 17 years, and we've been full-time residents for the last 9 years here. And I want to offer a plan of action that really hasn't been brought up, but I think it exists here. I'm going to start with a little silly analogy here. Harney County has an elephant in its house, and we need to decide whether to invite it up onto our beds or turn it out into the corral. The decisions we make are going to define the destiny of this community. For the last 3 weeks, Harney County has heard some interesting ideas from a variety of sometimes persuasive personalities that have come into our community. Some of these ideas might deserve additional examination, but some ideas appear to be very bad and almost insulting to our intelligence. For example, the refuge occupiers just yesterday came to the Crystal Crane Hot Springs and lectured our local ranchers to stop paying their BLM grazing fees and to tear up their grazing permits. Such advice is terribly destructive. It would impact our livelihood. It would destroy our cattle industry here in this country. For the last 3 weeks, Harney County has been gripped by a paralysis of disruption and dysfunction. Our government offices have been closed. We've lost work productivity. People have felt fearful and intimidated. Our personal relationships have been damaged. Outside groups of uncertain intent have arrived. Whatever can possibly be said has probably already been said to a national media presence. People are getting tired and stressed, and the daily economic and monetary cost of this occupation continue to increase. Harney County is a community that needs to work. We need to continue to work together, and we need to be able to work with our government agencies. The ability to do that has been disrupted, stopped, and compromised. It's time for many to go home. and it's time to begin healing and restoration of our good community. To begin this, Harney County needs to first restore law and order within our community. And we need to restore a civil process within the law to resolve our disagreements. I'm going to borrow a phrase from one of our presidential candidates, Donald Trump. He's probably the most colorful one out there. Donald Trump has said, "We can't afford to be so nice, folks." I'm going to say that again. We cannot afford to be so nice, folks. And while we greatly appreciate that law enforcement up to this point has avoided anyone from getting hurt, there are other damaging effects that deserve consideration. We need to recognize what's really going on down at the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. For through 3 weeks now, it has been an active crime scene, and it needs to be handled as such. We need to begin isolating and containing the occupiers. We need to prevent the transportation and resupply in and out of the refuge. We need to make the scene less comfortable by disconnecting the electrical, internet, telephone services that our occupiers are enjoying. So in conclusion, and this is the point, I call upon our elected officials, our law enforcement, our responsible federal agencies, such as the FBI and the Department of Justice, to stop being so nice and to start taking the necessary actions to end this standoff, to return the refuge to the public, and to enable the restoration and healing within our community.
I'd like to address you, Tom Sharp, about the elephant in this room. The elephant in this room, I'm Erin Maupin, and I've spoken at every single one of these meetings. And the elephant in this room is an overreaching federal government that has sent Dwight and Stephen Hammond back to prison for the second time. The second time. These people have stood up here. There's representatives in Washington, representatives in Oregon. They all think it's unjust. And that is the elephant in this room. And instead of talking about who needs to go home, we need to start talking about who needs to come home. Who needs to come home are two gentlemen that right now are in a prison cell for the second time. And I'm sorry, I'm getting mad, but I'm sick of this. I am sick of this. Do you realize how selfish we are? Every single one of us, me included. This has been heck on me. I haven't enjoyed this. But what about Susie Hammond? What about Dwight and Stephen Hammond, who are in a prison cell? Has anybody thought about what they're going through? And we're talking about our rights being violated. Think about their rights. Susie was on Lou Dobbs last night. Lou Dobbs asked, has any one of your representatives called you to talk to you? I want to ask you three gentlemen right there, have any one of you called Susie Hammond since her husband and her son have been sent back to prison, or Arlinda Hammond, whose family is torn apart? Have any one of you called them?
Sorry, my name is Isabel, and I live here in Hines. I would like just to clarify to everybody that mandatory minimum sentencing was not invented for the Hammonds a few years ago. It has been around for 20 years, and it was the Republicans who put them in place. For 20 years, mostly inner city, poor, minority men have been unjustly jailed for endless sentences. For 20 years, the Democrats have been trying to get rid of mandatory sentencing. So tell Greg Walden to go across the aisle and talk to his Democratic peers who will help him get rid of minimum mandatory sentencing, because they are unfair and they are wrong, but they were not invented for the Hammonds. And the Hammonds committed a crime and they got the sentence that was appropriate for that crime. And it is very sad, but it is sad for everybody in America who has an unfair sentence. Not just the Hammonds, not just because they are your neighbors and you know them. And you need to start realizing that the rest of the world, and especially the rest of the United States, people work hard, even if they're environmentalists, even if they're Democrats, even if they're liberals, even if they love their national parks, and yes, their national monuments, even there, get up in the morning, work hard, take care of their children, raise their children, and serve their country. And so instead of invading our wildlife refuge and then daring to come here in our public school while our children are practicing their sports, you should just go home and I hope somebody catches you on the way and you go to jail where you deserve to be.
Hi, I'm Linda Looney. I've lived here for 65 years. I was raised on a ranch here. I've known Steve, I know Dave, I know most of the people up there. And I'm going to tell you something, there's not two people that love Harney County more than Dave Ward and Steve Grasty. I can guarantee that. But what I want to say is, when this all started, we had a prayer vigil. There was 5 different pastors that Sunday at that prayer vigil. There were 2 law enforcement people there, but there wasn't anybody from any of you guys there. Do you know who we prayed for first? For safety, for knowledge, for discernment, was you and everybody that's at that refuge. That's who we prayed for, was your guys' safety. That the right thing would be done. We appreciate that you have brought some things to light, but it's gotten out of order. We have voices, we have feet, we can take care of it. You've brought this to our minds, to bring it up, to do something about it. Thank you, I guess, but I can't thank you for the disruption to our county, to my home, to people who are stressed out. And it's not any one person's fault that people are stressed out. It's not the 3%ers. It's not the Patriots. It's not Ammon Bundy and your bunch. It's not the FBI. It's not the police. It's stress because this is our home. We love it or we wouldn't be here. And we just want you to give it back to us. Let us take control now. Everybody runs these guys down and you're starting to pick bad things that they may have done or bad things that somebody else has done. Was that the point in coming here in the first place? No, it wasn't. It was to bring up some things that were not going right with the government, okay? Not to pick on individuals and to blackball everybody and to fight with everybody. We're all Americans. We're all God's children. And I just ask that if anybody has a problem with what these people are doing, run for office.
My name's Roy Swanky, and I've lived in Harlan County for 25 years. As Liz Appleton earlier said, and as Aaron Maupin said, the original objectives of everything here was bring the Hammonds home. And after the rally, the other organizers and stuff got together down at the fairgrounds, and the words they said was the Bundys hijacked the rally. Well, that's true, but that's not all of it. The Bundys hijacked the Hammonds. Right now, the Hammonds seems right now that the Hammonds is for a lot of people, is like a second or third objective. I mean, we've got all this talk about management or ownership of federal lands. Well, that's been around for over 100 years, and it isn't going to get changed here in this county, and it isn't going to get changed in the next week or two or whatever. We got freedom of speech objectives and stuff. Well, Hammond, again, they seem to be taking precedence over bringing the Hammonds home. Well, I got to thinking the other night, and this is something Steve said. As long as you guys are holding the refuge hostage down there, the Hammonds will stay in jail. They will not come home because they don't negotiate that type of situation. If they give in to you guys and the next person that gets sentenced or whatever, there's a bunch of friends take over the other refuge or some other place. So they will never give in as long as you are holding that down there. I talked many times, I shouldn't say many times, but I've said several times that we need to sign a petition to bring the Hammond or get those sentences commuted or run out of the other word that clemency. Yes, thank you. I have another idea on that there. You know, there's probably around 100,000, I've heard people support the petition to Clements or whatever, the Hammonds. I think we need to, as a community, to start another petition, a petition that is limited to either Harney County citizens or maybe I was going to say take a 100-mile radius around the Hammonds Ranch and get everybody that's within that, can vote, get them all, them would be the only ones that could sign the petition. Then, because I think most of the people in that radius supports bringing the Hammonds home. And even though there may only be 6,000 or 7,000 people, what you do is then you look at how many signs it, and you come up with a percentage. And then you do the same thing around Washington, D.C. Well, let me go back. I think you'd have a high percentage, 80, 90%. Then I was going to say you take the same radius around Washington, D.C. and figure out the population there. And I would guess, you're going to talk 30 million or 50 million. And then you can say, take it to the president and say, down here, 90% of the people support bringing the Hammonds home. If you want to do that around Washington, D.C., you'd have to have millions of people sign a petition. And I don't see millions of people signing the petition that's going on now. Even if you had 100,000, even if you had 1 million people sign the present petition, that would be 1/3% of the population of the United States. So anyway, I'm just making that a suggestion of something else we might be able to do.
Hi, I'm Tom Wallace, and I live here in Harney County. I live in 640 square feet down on E Street next to the river in what used to be called Whiskey Flats. I love it there. It's a dead-end road. My animals don't get hit. And I don't, my wife, bless her heart, has taught me something over and over again, that there's not all that much wrong with the United States of America except the blame game. We're really quick to lay blame on somebody else for something, whether it's Steve in office or the sheriff whose hands are tied, or the federal government, as the man just explained, whose hands are tied with the Hammonds because the United States, the federal government, does not negotiate with what they consider terrorism. And I don't mean anything
Let's ask
bad
the
about that,
Taliban
Mr.
5
Bundy.
about that
I
one.
appreciate you coming. Would really like you to go home. But the blame game is what is wrong with this society. It isn't about who's right or wrong. It's about how can we fix it in the proper fashion. That's all I had to say.
My name's Larry Northey. I've lived here for 30 years. I'm a dried up old man with nothing left, just like Chris Briles. And I want to say, why can't we have meetings, to get these problems solved, get it over with and move on? We can't in our own county buildings? Come on. And if so, how do we adjust our taxes? We don't need to be paying for those. And the other thing is Mr. Ward, you said it yourself. You agree with the Bundys on a lot of things. How admirable. Why do we have the FBI here? We have great sheriffs, and I know I'm going to get beat from the backside on this. We have great sheriffs. I know most of them. Grew up with them. Kick the FBI out of here, and you guys are competent enough to take care of it yourself.
Hello, my name is Becky Proctor. I am a Burns, Harney County resident all my life. I am a 12th generation Burns Paiute Indian. What made me decide to come out here tonight was I came to the school, got my son, and took him home from wrestling. A Ford Tempo car that came back, out of state license, went by my house and told me to return to the res. You know what? This is my res. I grew up here. I want you guys to go home. My son doesn't need to be putting a chair in front of his door every night to make sure that me, a single mother, is safe. I'm not doing it anymore. I went out and got my shotgun. And if anyone comes to my door that I don't know or threatens me or my son, it will be handled. I'm not going to put up with it.
So, listen, we've been asked a couple of times, why not the meetings in the county buildings? So you want to meet in the county buildings, you're welcome to. Anybody that's doing criminal activities, not welcome to. We're not going to set up displays for those that want to sell drugs. Anybody in this room can come and talk to me. Vanessa did today. We had a great conversation. I don't know if we got an answer. You beat me up. I got that. That's part of my responsibility. And I accept it. I'll try and do better next time. I'm going to keep trying to do better. This is my home. This is your home. I work for all of you. Call that a pity factor? A pity thing? I can give you a whole list of things why I'm distressed. My family's distressed. I'm not going there. This community is what I work for. Mr. Bundy, be very clear. I'm happy to meet you. Any place outside of my county. It is time for you to go home. These people keep saying that.
Okay, we have a speaker here. Speaker has the microphone. The speaker has the microphone, thank you.
It's probably a good thing that we get together here and that we allow people to voice their opinions. They can voice their opinions passionately, maybe then perhaps they'll get their, I don't know, we call it catharsis, cleansing ourselves a little bit. But when we're done yelling, we're going to need to get together again as a community. Now, I forgot to say my name. I'm Pastor Matthew Littow, sort of a Lutheran, Episcopalian, native, traditional kind of hybrid. When the yelling gets done, and let's not hurt each other physically when we're doing that. Go ahead and yell if you need to. But we're going to need to get together after all that's done. I have lots and lots of friends who are concerned about me here, concerned about the ministry of the two churches that I serve. And I tell them, just pray for peace. I tell them also to light a candle for peace. So go ahead and have your say. But let's join together in prayer. Let's join together in solving our problems peacefully. That's the Christian way. And regardless of how long this thing continues, I'm going to stay here. I grew up in Western Oregon. And ever since, and for the past 45 years, I've been coming out here on a regular basis to hunt deer, catch fish, shoot chuckers, and even chase a couple of jackrabbits. Harney County is very close to my heart, always has been. Let's pray for peace.
It's good to be in the midst of so many passionate people. We have some very divided people here. And I'm going to use something here that I hope will follow up with what Matt said. My name is Brian Bowman. I pastor the Harney County Church of Nazarene. I've been here next month 4 years. And I just wanted to say I've lived in 9 states in my 56 years. And this is the best place I've lived in those 56 years. Mr. Bundy, it's nice to have you here, and some of your other men, I've seen them around. You have certainly brought a voice. Without taking sides, I just want to say thank you because you have made an awareness. You've also created a lot of division, and I'm not equating you to him, but a guy named Jesus did the same thing. And I want to challenge us, kind of what Matt said before I share from this. No, it's not the Bible, but it's close for some ladies. The word came to me as I was sitting there. I have some very passionate men right here, and women, I've heard you. And we've had some passionate people on both sides of the fence. But I want to challenge us. Jesus was an individual, as God's only son, that was full of grace. We need to extend some grace to one another here. I think, as Matt said, boy, we have some very strong opinions everywhere, and we have some in the middle. What if we sat down and, without yelling, without swearing, without name calling, worked it out? Is that possible? I think. Any of you ladies have this in your kitchen? Can I see hands? Come on, I have a few hands. Maybe some men. I don't want any guys left out either. There you go. Include everybody. One of my favorite desserts is chocolate chip cookies. I want to read you the ingredients required for chocolate chip cookies. Granulated sugar, brown sugar, margarine or butter, shortening, eggs, vanilla, flour, baking soda, salt. We'll skip the chopped nuts since I don't like nuts in my cookies. And last but not least, semi-sweet chocolate chips. We have some Democrats here, some Republicans, we have some ranchers, some BLM, some government people. We have some educators, professional people from the East Coast here in our midst. We're quite a homogeneous group, or heterogeneous group, quite a mix. I think we need to bring it all together and get a really sweet batch of cookies out of all this heterogeneous mix and be grace to one another.
Okay, so we're getting close to the end, and so I want to make sure anyone from Harney County, so Harney County residents, get preferential treatment. Now I'm going to go here first, you sir, and then we'll come back over here.
Rick Hobine, Stinking Water Creek, Lamb Ranch, Druzy, Oregon. 9 years. Every time I think I'm going to get up to speak, someone says exactly what I was going to talk about. That's happened 3 or 4 times in these meetings. A little bit of background. We haven't been here but 5 minutes compared to some. But we've really lived a lot of life since we've been here. When we first got here, my 6-year-old found 2 cases of melting dynamite in the granary. And being that he experiences dyslexia, he couldn't read what that was. So he thought these little plastic wrapper, actually wax paper wrapper, what looked like burritos, should go home to Mom so she could maybe look at that. So she pitches them out through the roof of this granary that he crawled in because the door was froze shut. He got 4 of them to go through that little hole that he crawled in, and they landed outside. So he brings them to the house, and he hands these 4 little burrito-looking things to Mom, and Mom says, "Your dad's right behind you, give them to him. Those can't be in the house." So he handed them to me, and being the suave, great dad that I am, I said, "Don't give them to me." The point of the story is we called the sheriff. And the sheriff said, "Get out of the house, we'll be right there." We not only had the sheriff, but we had the state police, and in very short order, we had the bomb squad from Pendleton in our yard. And these guys are just the most amazing. If you've never had the bomb squad in your front yard, these guys are it. They've got little robotic buggies, and they know how to deal with 60-year-old dynamite. And then they do this is what happens if dynamite goes off, and they show the kids that. And to this day, we are the crazy people that moved here from Hawaii 9 years ago that have the dynamite in their shed. Amongst other stories, like the time we almost washed out our dam. Anyway, it's been a lifetime in 9 years. Now, the other night, I went to a Tuesday night meeting, and we were given a civics lesson on how things could work or should work, depends how you read it. And I ended up on the Committee of Safety, which have been vilified, and you're on this camp and you're on that camp. But my message tonight is this. We've heard so much from so many passionate people. And I'm 56 years old, and I've spent about the last 30 years of my life in animal agriculture, sitting in meetings, collaborating. And this is a big thing now, especially in animal agriculture, because what we have wolves, and we have a sage grouse, and we work so hard, and we listen to Mrs. Marshall. What was her first name? Georgia Marshall. And I listened to the passion and the anger, and she's not going to let somebody steal what she's worked so hard for. And I flashed back into that 30 years of collaborating, and I just visioned the crumbs sweeping off the table for that little bit of what they were negotiating for. To the point, and I'll quit. I'm sorry I've gone on. We have a unique opportunity as Harney County. We have a unique opportunity to write where we're going from here. The Committee of Safety finds itself in this unique position to be in the middle of this and to visit with our elected officials and visit with Ammon and his position and be the voice of the people. The premier component of this meeting, every meeting, whoever you are, is every voice in the room, should you show up, every voice in this county is critical that they be heard, whether they're for or against, Democrat or Republican, just moved here 6 months ago, been here for 12 generations. Every voice is critical and must be heard with respect. The place to go now is to the future. How do we heal? How do we move forward? Committee of Safety is working on that. We started with 7, we're now up to 80. Our position is to move forward and make this a better place for everybody. Everybody's voice in the room. And that's where the power is. Okay? We've got the sheriff's back. We love the sheriff department and all these guys that are in it. We've got Steve Grasty's back. Because why? We, the people of Harney County, put him where he is. We will hold him accountable, but we will also have his back.
My name is Jennifer Williams. My son was injured 2 years ago this month in a severe auto accident. And I see a lot of the folks in this room that came to fundraisers, that have prayed for him, that have stood beside him. And now I watch you guys kill each other off with your mouths and your broken hearts, because we all hurt and we're all hurting for the same thing. And I think that's where we're lost, is we're not seeing that we're all on the same page. We all want government that's accountable. We all want each other's backs. We all want to work together. We all want to pray for each other. I've seen it. But I also saw he had eye surgery yesterday. It's a long process to get these things fixed. Ammon, you need to go home to your family. Thank you. Thank you. I've learned so many things that I didn't realize. Like when Walden said the other day that BLM said they would build the fences and now they want the ranchers too. I didn't know that. I'm sorry, I was busy. I was busy doing other things. I didn't know these things. Now I'm aware.
Now I know what to watch for. Thank you guys for bringing that up. Please, this is a community that sticks together like none other. I grew up in Los Angeles. We never, ever would have had the support for our family that I have had through this community. And I thank you guys. I thank you beyond compare. And I just ask that we stick together. We take each other's backs. We make ourselves chocolate chip cookies or whatever. Work together. Let's not forget. Let's keep meeting and let's get it fixed, what we can fix. But let's not kill each other off. Please? You guys mean too much to us. Thank you.
Listen, we said we were gonna end at 8:30 and we're gonna. That's a great set of comments to end on. This is a great place. Emma, and I do admire you for showing up here. But your point was made 14, 15 days ago. Let's move on. We can make this work. Any one of you want to come to my office, I'll make time. I'm consumed every day by the stuff that's going on around us in our community. But any one of you is welcome to my office anytime. It may take me a few minutes to get there. Ask Sharon, she's here. Mr. Bundy, if this was going to go upside down, you were going to be attacked. I suspect this is probably as good a place as any. That didn't happen. Give us respect for that. I can't commit to sheriff or law enforcement, but you came in here peacefully and you're going to leave peacefully as best I can tell. Don't stop. I'll get you in my pickup. I'll drive you wherever you want to go. I don't care if it's Utah. I'll take you there. But go home. We got families. We need to move on. For the rest of you, help us get this together. You want to come up and beat me up? I'll be there to be beat up. I suspect Pete and Dan will take it too. Dan's over trying to figure out a collaborative effort that we can put together, grassroots, driven by all of us, to help do this, further the success stories we've had, make them better, get empowered, hear better, make our decisions. You guys got to help me, the whole community. Thanks for your evening here. I really appreciate it. Next Monday at 7 here.
No, you did great. You got a couple of million viewers tonight.
Oh, so you had to come. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
You always need the haircut.
Say that again.
I got it, Mom. I got two of them. Maybe one of you, Paul.
I'm saying good night.
Don't forget, Revolution Radio, readoutnews.com. Please help support independent alternative media. Good night, everyone. No, I can only read what you're saying. But I can probably turn it up here in a minute. How are you?
Good.
Well, it won't be in a minute. Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, hold on a minute.
We do that. We'll keep baking for you all. Thank you. Yeah.
Try that. Hey, I can hear you. I'm coming. Hi. Here you go. Are we? Well, there wasn't that many people here compared to what I was expecting. There was a lot, don't get me wrong. But I was expecting more. It was pretty divided. They tried to mix themselves up, but I think if they had each taken a side, it would have been pretty equal. What do you think, Brett?
Slightly in favor of the city at this meeting. At the other meeting, which was fuller.
Yeah, the other meeting had probably 400 people in it. That was the meeting earlier tonight with Chris Ann Hall.
And they seem to be almost entirely in favor of taking back their own government, even if whether it is or is not involved.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. There just seems to have been, it's like everything anybody said, there just seemed to be applause. It's like, beat up a banana. Yay! You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do.
Because every time, no matter what the consensus was, there was just applause. Now I know you didn't get the mic, and I was begging you guys to grab that mic, and I understand why you did it, but because we're still trying to just be straight up, unconducive news, but who are we looking at there, and is that Eamon Bundy on the other side of the room?
No, he's gone.
Yeah, I think he's gone. I'll walk out here and see if I see him.
All right. But
I tried to get a couple of shots for you earlier. I'm going to step outside.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, we don't have to have Eamon Bundy. We have just looked at 7 people that we could probably get a good interview and just talk to the local people, which is what we've been doing from the beginning.
So how do y'all think it went? Yes, you're still live.
It was interesting.
Was it?
It's a lot of work.
I cannot hear who's talking.
There's certainly no lack of opinion.
Yeah.
Opinion.
Yeah, there were a lot of opinions tonight.
A lot of passion. Takes some time to cool down.
All right, who do you have on camera right now?
Would you like to introduce yourself? This is Revolution Radio, and your meeting was watched by probably a couple of million people tonight.
Well,
Brian.
All right.
Hello, Brian.
How you doing, Brian? Hey, listen, I want to ask you a question. Do you
with them?
are you local?
Are you local?
I am not.
You're not. What are you, media?
No, no, ma'am. I'm not media. I'm not with anybody here. I'm just came down to a couple friends I've met for a couple days to investigate and see what's going on. There seems to be a lack of information around, so we came to learn. And this
How interesting. That's why we're here.
about that. So
Yeah.
you said readouts.
We're with Readout News, which is readoutnews.com.
Okay.
It is just us. We're an alternative media out of North Idaho.
We're partnered with Revolution Radio, who's doing the live streaming for the broadcast.
Okay.
And we decided we needed to get down here because the mainstream media wasn't reporting what appeared to be everything.
The alternative media was not doing that as well.
And thank you folks for doing this. There's a lot of work for that. I think key to this will be news coverage, because I think at this point the only thing that's keeping it from blowing up, as we just said in the room, is the focus. It's making it hard on the locals, but it's keeping anybody from doing rash things. It's creating a level of caution.
Yes, yes.
And hope you continue to do this, and maybe that caution will continue, because it will take a lot of time.
Thank you, and thank you for taking some time with us. I appreciate that.
Have a great evening.
You too.
Awesome. Hey, Sherry, can you find me somebody that lives locally? Even right there, right in front of you, Sheriff's Department.
Oh, you're waving at me. That means I'm coming over. How do you think it went tonight? Do you?
I think both parties were able to speak.
Do you think anything will come from it?
I think anytime people talk, there's positives that come out.
I'm so short, I gotta hold this thing up. It's either that or look at your chin here. You know, I can't do that. Are you local here?
No, ma'am, I'm from Deschutes County. So
Well, we certainly appreciate you coming up here and giving everybody aid if they need it.
It's a good community.
It is a very good one. I've only been here a few days, but I've been my heart just gets warm because they all just, are such nice people.
Very passionate.
Oh, half off. Half off.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a great night.
You too. I'm working on it.
Oh, that's cool. The big thing is I just want to get somebody local, and just, what our listeners are wanting to hear is somebody that just is a local.
Okay, thank you, sir.
A local listener live, and just to kind of discuss this.
I'm going back inside where it's not quite so windy.
All right.
See if I can get somebody in here.
Actually, interview, if you can, any of the any of the law enforcement that you can interview is good.
You want law enforcement?
Law enforcement and locals, people that live in that county. Or who the hell ever wants to talk?
Nobody does. Nobody does. Are you local?
To the state, but not so much.
Well, how do you think it went tonight?
Our part of it was great.
Yeah, but how do you think it went there? Do you think they accomplished anything?
I just couldn't hardly hear anything.
Really? That's
I
too
hear
bad.
lots of people watching for fights.
Did you find any? Oh, so you got bored all night long?
This guy tried smoking in the boys' room.
Oh, really?
Did that, but
Excuse me, gentlemen. You too. He wasn't the one I wanted to talk to.
Is it me, or does everybody seem to be shaved and skinny?
No, we've seen some of the opposite too.
Well, you know what I mean. It just seems like everybody is shaved and really white.
So my wife came.
I don't know if the apple peddler is still open. I've ate there once. I didn't get sick.
Okay.
I've ate at McDonald's going through for training. Never been sick. So.
All right, who is that?
Best I can do.
Fred, you need to take this. My hands are cramping.
All right.
Hey, I've already turned down two calls from our daughter, so.
No.
Hey, Hawk.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Okay. What's the game plan? I think we've pretty much caught everybody coming out.
Yeah, you caught a bunch, and I think you're good. I think we're good to go.
Okay.
All right, man. I'll talk to
her hand was starting to cramp up on her, so.
All right.
And the wind was probably tearing up the mic.
Is there anybody we can hijack?
You have a few things you want to add to the conversation?
Yeah.
Well, the big thing is the law enforcement seems to be pretty intense there. And that's where I was kind of headed for.
Gentleman who didn't get a chance to talk, and he wants to talk to us.
All right, let's hear you.
I've been here for 52 years. It seems like that's the only thing everybody was saying, and they didn't say nothing about what's going on here, about the land out there. When they first come out there, it was Jones and Ranch out there where I fit. Hammonds, just go out there to Hammonds. When they come here first, that's what the deal was, Hammonds. And then all of a sudden they changed their story that we're going to get the land back. You can't get the land back out there. They've been doing that since '62. I've been here, I watched people come off of the land, lose their property. And thing is, they lost their property, but you can't back to them because first thing you're going to do, no trespassing, no hunting, all that land to go away from the people, It needs to be the way it is because we fought for that for years, to get it that way. And if you take that away, the people that own it, you give it back to, that's the only people going to go on that land. Just like they had it when I was a young kid. They had where you could go on there, no trespassing, no hunting. And that's where it's going to go back to if they don't stop it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All this.
Sir, hey, let me ask you a question, sir. Okay.
He's got a question, but it's hard to hear. Go ahead, Doc.
All right, here's the question I have. They were passing the mic around. Why didn't you get the mic?
That's what he was saying was they didn't give him a chance. He didn't get it in. They cut us off at 8:30.
Yeah, exactly. That was the point I was trying to make.
Do what?
I said yes, exactly. That was the point I was trying to make.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Bundys and all that, they've been changing their story. They don't know what they're here for, Are they here because of the land? They want to give the land back? Are they Hammonds? What are they here for? They don't even know. Just like the people in there that I listen to stories tonight, they don't know what they're talking about. All they're doing is talking about their lives, Who gives a shit? That's not what we're here for. We're here to try to get the Bundys, to go home. We don't want to fight, none of that. Don't make it like Waco, or don't make it like Ruby Ridge or something like that. Just let it go out. It's getting cold. It might be out of here a little quicker than you think. Anyway, I just want to let people know that it ain't Bundys. They don't even know what they're here for. They've changed their story so many times. I don't know what they're here for.
Yeah.
They need to make up their mind.
So here's my question.
Talking to us on this than you had in there.
That's good.
It just wasn't always the local people.
I hope people understand it. We can't give it back to the people. That ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
You gotta leave it the way it is everybody can go out there and enjoy it. And that no trespassing signs and all that, no hunting stuff, ain't gonna happen again, like it used to be. Can't do that. We give it back, everybody loses. That's all I gotta say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you taking the time with us. And you have a good evening.
See, you guys thought the story was over, but it is not.
Okay, I held it up to my ear. Repeat that.
I said you thought the story was over, but apparently it is not.
No, I'm watching for a couple other people that might want
Yeah, let's see it. I mean, we're out there, we're seeing the people coming in, seeing the people coming out. You got my statement earlier, and I could do it again. I could say it myself. I think that we have given, not we, just all of us, the media, all the way down the line, right down to Eamon Bundy, have given a voice to these people. And I think if you really dig into this, you will find that is the truth. Because, although we just listened to that meeting, and it was literally like you could go, chocolate and peanut butter. Everybody was applauding to everything, no matter what it was. And it was really funny. Because, you would get somebody that was pro what's going on out there, same applause. And then you would get somebody that was not pro going out there, same applause. So it seems a little contrived, somebody was turning on the applause sign. Was there an applause sign in there?
Absolutely not.
All right, I just, one has to wonder.
Yeah. Well, there were three basic views, but most of them concentrated on. Oh, just sat down. Most of them concentrated on they want to control their government, and it sounded like most of them wanted Ammon gone, but they didn't want the situation that caused him being there to stay.
Well, one thing handshakes another, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, I know you guys are tired. We've been working all day. You go home. You have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll get a new agenda going for tomorrow.
Absolutely.
All right. Peace out. Have a beer on me. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, now I'll do the usual 2-minute duration of dead air so we can pass our buffer so we don't scram out. I know there's other broadcasters that are anyway, I know there's other broadcasters that are recasting what we're doing, so I'm going to do 2 minutes of buffer set so we don't scram out everybody else, and that'll be the end of that. And we will be back tomorrow. We have a new agenda for tomorrow. I don't advertise anything anymore because every time we do, it gets shut down. So see you tomorrow, folks. Good night.